Tonight, you are going to do something no other animal on this planet can do. You are going to take raw ingredients, apply heat, and transform them into something unrecognizable. You will not think twice about it. But that one act, that simple, unremarkable ritual, is the reason you are sitting here, thinking these thoughts with a brain capable of contemplating its own existence. Cooking did not just change your diet. It changed your species. Think about that for a second. Every idea you have ever had, every word you have ever read, every dream, memory, and moment of clarity, all of it runs on a brain that was built by fire. The real story of how you became human does not start with language. It does not start with tools or art or civilization. It starts with a flame. And it is far stranger than you have been told. Your earliest ancestors did not look like you. About 2 million years ago, the creatures walking across the African savanna had much smaller brains, much larger guts, and spent the better part of their day chewing. Raw food is extraordinarily difficult to process. Tough plant fibers, unbroken cell walls, dense muscle tissue. Your body has to work enormously hard to extract energy from it. Primates today spend up to 6 hours a day just chewing. 6 hours. Your closest living relative, the chimpanzee, has a gut that takes up roughly twice the proportion of its body that yours does. Raw food requires massive digestive machinery, and that machinery costs energy. Here is the problem your ancestors faced. The brain is the most expensive organ in your body. It consumes roughly 20% of your total caloric intake while making up only 2% of your body weight. To grow a bigger brain, evolution needed a way to free up energy. A lot of it. But where would that energy come from? The answer, according to Harvard biological anthropologist Richard Wrangham, came from fire. Wrangham published his landmark work on this in 2009 in a book called Catching Fire. His central argument was radical when he first proposed it, but the evidence has since become overwhelming. Cooking food, applying external heat before digestion, is not a cultural invention layered on top of human biology. It is the engine that built human biology in the first place. Here is what heat does to food. It breaks down cell walls before the food even enters your mouth. It denatures proteins, making them easier for your enzymes to unravel and absorb. It gelatinizes starches, unlocking calories that would otherwise pass through you undigested. In short, cooking is a form of pre-digestion that happens outside your body. By the time cooked food reaches your stomach, a tremendous amount of the processing work is already done. Studies by Rachel Carmody and colleagues at Harvard showed that mice fed cooked food consistently gained more body mass than mice fed the same food raw, even when the caloric content was identical on paper. The body extracts more usable energy from cooked food. Not a little more, significantly more. Your ancestors figured this out not by reading a study, but by accident. Fire existed in nature long before humans controlled it. A lightning strike, a volcanic flow, a spark in dry grass. And at some point, perhaps 1.8 million years ago, perhaps earlier, some early hominin tasted meat or tubers that had been caught in a natural fire. And something changed. The evidence is ancient and subtle, but it is there. The archaeological record shows a remarkable shift in the fossil record of the genus Homo around this period. Teeth got smaller, faces flattened, jaws became less powerful. The massive, projecting jaw of earlier hominins, built for grinding tough raw food for hours, began to shrink. At the same time, brain cases began to expand. This is not coincidence. This is biology responding to a new energy source. When your digestive system no longer needed to be a massive, energy-hungry processing plant, evolution could redirect that energy elsewhere. The gut shrank, the jaw shrank, and the brain, the expensive, calorie-hungry, extraordinarily powerful brain, had the resources it needed to grow. Homo erectus, the species that appears in the fossil record around 1.9 million years ago, had a brain roughly double the size of its predecessors. It also had a body that was almost startlingly modern. Long legs, narrow hips, a much smaller gut. Wrangham argues this cannot be explained by raw food alone. The caloric math simply does not work. The only thing that explains the brain expansion and the gut reduction happening simultaneously is cooking. Your brain, in a very real sense, is made of fire. But the implications go deeper than anatomy. Cooking did not just change your body. It changed your society. Think about what cooking requires. It requires time. Gathering food, preparing it, maintaining a fire. none of this is instant. And cooked food, once prepared, is worth protecting. Unlike a chimpanzee who eats a fig immediately upon finding it, a cooked meal represents an investment. It can be stolen, which means the moment your ancestors started cooking, they also started needing to defend their food. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner at the University of Utah has spent decades studying the role of fire in human social life. Her research among the Jew/Honzi people of the Kalahari, a population whose lifestyle offers rare windows into ancestral patterns, found something striking. Daytime hours around the Jew/Honzi were dominated by practical conversation. Who found what? Who owes whom? The logistics of survival. But firelight changed everything. Around the fire at night, the conversation shifted entirely. Stories emerged. Myth. Identity. Plans that stretched beyond the immediate present. The fire was not just cooking food, it was cooking culture. Because here is what a shared fire does. It extends the day. For hundreds of thousands of years, darkness meant danger. The moment the sun went down, your ancestors were vulnerable. But a fire pushed that boundary back. It gave them hours they had never had before. Hours free from the demands of foraging, free from immediate threat, hours that could be spent doing something entirely new. Talking, imagining, teaching. Anthropologist Kim Sterlny has argued that this extended social time around the fire created the conditions for cumulative culture, the ability to pass knowledge across generations, building on what came before rather than starting from scratch. Every other animal is locked into the knowledge it can acquire in a single lifetime. You are not. You are the beneficiary of thousands of years of accumulated understanding, and the campfire was the classroom where that transmission began. Language itself may owe something to the hearth. Speaking requires fine motor control. It requires a brain with enough spare capacity to model another person's mental state, to imagine what you know that they do not, and to select the right words to bridge that gap. That kind of brain is expensive, and it became possible only after cooking made the energy available to grow it. You carry all of this with you, right now. Every time you smell food cooking and feel your mouth respond before you have even seen what it is, that is a 2 million-year-old reflex firing. Your body knows what cooked food means. It has known for a very long time. Consider what happens when people are deprived of cooked food entirely. Raw food movements, despite their appeal, tend to produce significant weight loss in followers, not as a sign of health, but as a sign of caloric deficit. Researcher Cordain and colleagues found that among dedicated raw foodists, a substantial proportion of women stopped menstruating entirely, a biological signal that the body does not have enough energy to sustain reproduction. The human body, shaped over millions of years to run on cooked calories, struggles to extract enough energy from raw food alone. You are not built for a raw diet. You are built for fire. And yet somehow, the modern world has made you forget this. You live in an era of processed food, engineered in laboratories to trigger the same ancient responses your ancestors had around a fire. The crunch, the warmth, the concentrated calories, the ease of eating. All of it is an industrial simulation of what your body learned to want 2 million years ago. The fast food restaurant is, in a strange way, the distant descendant of the campfire. Your brain cannot tell the difference. Neuroscientist Gordon Shepherd at Yale has written extensively on the neuroscience of flavor. His work reveals that the experience of tasting food is not passive. It is an act of creation performed by your brain. The flavor of a meal does not exist in the food. It exists in you. Your brain constructs it from smell, taste, texture, temperature, memory, and expectation. The richness of human flavor perception, something no other animal comes close to experiencing with the same complexity, is itself a product of the brain that cooking built. You taste the world more deeply than any other creature that has ever lived. And that, too, is a gift of the fire. So the next time you stand in a kitchen, watching water come to a boil or smelling bread turn golden in the oven, understand what you are actually doing. You are performing the act that separated your lineage from every other branch of life on this planet. You are continuing a ritual that began 2 million years ago on an open savanna when some fearless, hungry ancestor reached into the edge of a natural fire and pulled out something warm. They did not know what they were starting. They did not know that one act would cascade through millions of years of biology, reshaping jaws and guts and skulls, extending nights and building language and culture and everything that followed. They just knew it tasted better. And tonight, when you sit down to a warm meal without thinking about it, you are living proof that they were right.